Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This is something that's a little bit different than what I normally do. Usually I just open up packages I get in the mail. I will often talk about why I bought the card, what I think the future of the card will be, and what the current market is for the card. But I wanted to just do a quick video here. It's you can see December 30th. Just wanted to talk about going into 2020 and talk about basically the overview of what I think 2019, how it went, and what we can kind of expect, and maybe just do some guessing and some speculation on 2020. I'm gonna talk about some cards that I think that come to mind really quickly when I think are good examples of representing the market as a whole. So the first thing I wanted to talk about are cards that I think basically the price hype, the price jumps, and the price spikes are pretty much over with. I think that in 2020 going forward, I don't see the prices of these cards really increasing that substantially. I think overall you'll see an increase in price 5-10 years, but the easy money has been made, as they say, and the easiest thing for me to think of when I think of cards that fall into this category is Retro Pack cards. Retro Pack 2 and also Retro Pack 1. I understand the rarity. I understand that it was only available in Europe, I believe. So these cards are extremely rare. I understand that, but what you have to understand is that these are just reprints. The first printing of Blue Eyes Shining Dragon was from the movie pack, and then the next printing was in Retro Pack 2 as a secret rare. And I know you've probably seen Simply Unlucky open like 10 of these boxes trying to get one, and he didn't get one. So these cards are clearly very hard to get. But the asking price currently of a near mint one is $700. $700. And there's two of those. You can do so much in this hobby with $700. Buying one of these, I mean, how many people out there are going to spend $700 on this one card? Yu-Gi-Oh! Unfortunately doesn't have the same deep pockets investors as Pokemon and Magic currently. I'm sure that'll change in the future, but as we sit right now, $700 for one of these cards is absolutely out of this world. I mean, you could buy an LOB Dark Magician. You could almost buy a graded Dark Magician LOB for $700, and don't even get started on $950. So, and this goes for pretty much all the secret rares in Retro Pack 2. I think the other big one in Retro Pack 2 was Harpy's Pet Dragon, in my opinion. So near mint is $190. Now that's not absurd. I still think for a reprinted Harpy's Pet Dragon, that's a lot of money. I think the first printing of it came out in Forbidden Memories promo. It was a prismatic secret rare. I think that's the staple to buy if you want to collect Harpy's Pet Dragon. Again, I understand the rarity of Retro Pack, but I mean, it's a reprint. I understand for Blue Eyes Shining Dragon why you'd want a higher rarity, and that would be the super. Also, keep in mind that a secret did get reprinted very recently in Legendary Collection Kaiba. I understand it's not the same thing. I know that's not really an argument, but if you really want to have a secret rare Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, instead of spending $700, spend $5, and you can buy a ton of other cards. So let's just go ahead and look at Retro Pack 1. And see how that's doing, because these cards, I mean, they almost just don't exist. The secret rare versions. So here's Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So if you don't know, the Retro Pack cards, they came in these blisters, and kind of like how the special editions are when you get a promo card. So Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, I believe, was one of the promos you could get from it. So those are selling for about $15. That's reasonable, yeah. Considering they were in every blister, there's probably tons of those. So here's something that's interesting. So the secrets are what's interesting. Amazoness Chain Master and Ancient Lamp are not the highest end retro pack secrets. I mean, honestly, who the hell cares about an Ancient Lamp? I get Amazoness Chain Master. That's kind of a cool card. I've always thought the artwork on that card was really cool. But let's go ahead and see if they have a near mint one for sale here. So there is not any near mint ones, but we've got a light play for 190. That's not too unreasonable. That's still a lot of money for a reprinted card. I understand the rarity bump, but again, 190 is a lot of money for this card. Pretty niche. Blast Sphere is another one. Again, kind of a card nobody really cares about. The big one that people care about, obviously Blue Eyes. Pretty much Blue Eyes in every set is going to be in every older set, I should say, is going to be a card that holds some value just because of what it is. There's Copycat there. I'm looking for Cyber Harpy Lady, or I forgot the name of it. Sorry. There's another secret. I don't know if these are... Kaiba Man's another one. I forgot about that. There's another DD Assailant. I think that was actually Retro Pack 2. Exodia is in this set as well. Yeah, Regeki is also a card. Pretty much anything that's hollow will sell for some good. I mean, look at this. Even Relinquished, ultra rare, didn't even get any kind of rarity bump. It came in ultra rare in Pegasus. It came in ultra rare in Magic Ruler, and it's holding that value. I don't know if anybody's buying it at that price, but I'm sorry, I just cannot find. Or almost the last page. It must be coming up. Yeah, Cyber Harpy Lady. So here's a card that just is astronomical, and I understand that the grading for this card, I mean, there's like a pop 1 or 2, but this card is we don't even have any English versions here, and we're in $300. English is probably $400 or $500. So I mean, this is a super expensive card, and rightfully so. But my point is that I think investing in this card, you're not going to see too much growth. I think the explosion of Retro Pack has come and gone. You're going to see slow growth still because, I mean, the hobby will grow and people collect and the population will not increase. So you'll see some growth over the next 5 to 10 years, but shorter term, I think these are not solid buys. I think there's better things you can buy that won't break your wallet. Like, you can buy this card graded for $2,000, but I mean, you might not have enough money to buy other things. The other thing I think maybe you should stay away. It's hard for me to say because I think that GX, I think 2020 and 2021 will be the time for GX to shine. If Konami continues to not print ultimate rares in their regular sets, you know, people will start collecting ultimate rares, and you've already seen it happen. People collecting ultimate rares. People like the cover art, and Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman fits all those categories. It's nostalgic. It's one of Jaden's boss monsters. I mean, people played it. It's an ultimate rare version of an ultra rare, so it's super difficult to get. But right now, there's one on the market for $2,000. So this deserves its own video. But I think I should save it. I think I should just say maybe think about this card. If you can come up with a good deal, maybe $300. I think $300 for this price for this card raw near mint is a great deal. If I saw one today, I'd buy one. If I saw 10 today, I'd buy 10. You know, it's a great pickup if you can find it at the right price. But I mean, people are asking astronomical prices. You could buy this earlier in the year for $300. The price should not have doubled in the last few months. I just don't think that's going to hold. So Shining Flare Wingman and Elemental Heroes in general have really exploded this year as well. I think that GX still has a lot of growth because there's a lot of other cards in there, a lot of other Ultimate Rares that are worth collecting. But I think in terms of Elemental Heroes, you've seen the explosion happen. I think you're going to see some more growth because as GX gets older, people who are going to start collecting, it's going to be seen as more vintage. So people will start collecting it and the price is going to go up. And if Konami continues to not print Ultimate Rares and sets, it's going to just even get that much more collectible. So Shining Flare Wingman is kind of the, I think it's the most expensive Elemental Hero card. So that's why I chose this to talk about. But keep your eye on this one. If you see one come in pretty cheap, you might want to pick it up. So now I want to go into kind of what I think is you heavily buy if you get good deals. So I wanted to show you guys the price of a Dark Crisis booster box. The cheapest price for a first edition Dark Crisis booster box appears to be $1,200. $1,200. Let's see the sold listings. Anybody buying it? So it's less than $900. So I mean, you say $600-700 for a box. Now that's a lot of money for a booster box, considering that the graded versions of the chase cards in the set are so cheap. Let's look at Yugioh Necros, the cover card. Less than $250. You're not even guaranteed that in the set. And then the other one, of course, is the Vampire Lord. So I actually bought this one. Look, you could get a PSA 9 first edition Vampire Lord for $50. That's absolutely insane. So if you crack a box, let's say you get the unicorn box, you get the best box you can. Let's say you even get Dark Flare Knight. So even if you got all 10s on Dark Flare Knight, Yugioh Necros, and Vampire Lord, how much was a 10 Vampire Lord? Less than $400. You might not get your money back, but you might actually get your money back. But my point here is that the fact that you can get a PSA 9 for $50 is absurd. That is insanely cheap. If you saw this, I mean, it's an absolutely great pickup. But my point is here that Dark Crisis has a ton of room to grow. 2019 was the year where everyone looked at LOB, Blue Eyes, shot up crazy in price, super valuable. But all these other sets that are vintage still, not many people are looking at. So I think Dark Crisis is one of those sets that not many people are looking at. I've seen Vampire Lord over this last year go up in price. You could pick one up earlier in the year for $15. Now you're looking at like $30 or $40. So that being said, I think if you can find these cards pretty cheap, you know, a Mint 9 Dark Crisis first edition secret rare for $50 seems like a no-brainer to me. And the same for Dark Flare Knight and for Yugioh Necros. If you can pick those cards up, you know, hold on to them. I think you're gonna wind up making your money back and then some over the next few years. It's just so cheap to get these cards, to pick up these cards graded. I mean, I don't understand why you would sell one of these cards for $50. That seems like giving it away. You know, even if you sent this in a bulk listing and you had to pay $9 for $8 or $9 to get it graded, and then you had to pay shipping. Shipping broken up into the bulk submission might be $1. So $10 into this card, you're effectively not making any money grading this card. It doesn't make sense to sell this card for $50. And I understand that. Let me go ahead and preface. I should have prefaced this before, that people collecting boxes are not buying them generally to break them. Like the person who spent $900 on this box is probably not going to open it. He just wants to have that box in his collection, and that holds a different value. But the cards inside should somewhat reach the point of the box. You can't have the box selling for 1,000 and the cards inside selling for like 600. The best cards selling for like 600. I mean, that's just absurd, right? The supply isn't going to increase at all. And, you know, people are going to, if people keep collecting and people eventually move into Dark Crisis, you'll see the price go up. So that's all I had for vintage. I kind of went through those pretty quick. Each one of those kind of deserves its own video, especially something like Cyber Harpy Lady and the Elemental Heroes. I should make one in the future where I just talk about these cards individually, and I might do that. But just giving you guys an overview of some quick things I think, you know, going into 2020 you should avoid or you should maybe pick up. So the other thing I wanted to talk about here to close out this video is ghost rares. So ghost rares are interesting. Ghost rares have been printed up until pretty recent sets. But in the TCG anyways, they've kind of stopped recently. But, you know, there's a lot of these ghost rares. I think Clear Wing Synchro Dragon's kind of a newish ghost rare for 30 bucks for a ghost rare. Remember, ghost rare is 1 per case, I think. And for $30, that's super cheap. For a synchro, it's a synchro, it's a dragon. I don't know why I clicked on it. You can't see any pictures. It's near mint, and this is not first edition. It said first edition. But if it was first edition, you know, it checks all the boxes. Collect the first edition, collect the dragons. People like the dragons, and collect the monster cards. You know, obviously, Elemental Hero Chaos Neos misprint is a really valuable card. People, for a while, you could get this for $50 because it was so common, but now it's skyrocketed in price. Not going to talk about Japanese ghost rares. That's a whole different thing, especially here in the United States. So, I mean, I think ghost rares, if you have spare capital, I mean, absolutely pick up ghost rares, especially if you see them in you know, good prices. Gold Series Haunted Mine, for a long time, people didn't care about this set. Now the Ghost Rare Blue Eyes is selling for tons of money, $1,000. People are realizing that the Ghost Rares are super hard to grade. The foil gets scratched so easily. They come out of packs scratched. I mean, these cards are damaged on the get-go. And the fact that they're 1 per case, the ones from these sets, it makes it even more scarce and rare to find one that's in gem mint condition out of the pack. You know, Star Eater is another really cool looking card. I wouldn't pay $40, but you know, if you can find one for a little bit better price, I mean, look at this thing. This thing's basically gem mint. That is very clean. It looks good, but you can see scratches all day long, and it's so easy to get those scratches on that card. I'm telling you, ghost rare cards are super collectible. You know, prismatics or something else that's kind of interesting. I'll have a different video. I got to talk about that separately. But ghost rares, 1 per case. I think you can see a lot more growth in ghost rares, especially these ghost rares that are selling for 30 bucks. Now I know this isn't first edition. I wouldn't buy anything that's not first edition. If you're going to buy something and hold it for a decent amount of time, buy it first edition. First edition is the stuff that's going to grow. But I mean, like that, what was that? Number 107? Like this card here. This is a super cool card. And this is cheap. 100 bucks? Are they first edition? Unfortunately not. If they were, I might have to just go ahead and buy those. But this is another cool card. I mean, I just love the way this card looks. It's a modern card. It's a synchro card. Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy, getting kind of old. Remember, 1 per case. 1 per case. The box prices are starting to go up. If you look at the box price, that's not gonna. 120 bucks. These things came out half the price, so they've kind of doubled in price. This was a pretty cool set in general. Yeah, I mean, this looks really good. See, you can see there again, foiling scratches. They come out of the pack like that. I'm sure that guy didn't do it, but man, it just sucks to see the scratches on this foil. Everything else about this card is super clean. So PSA 10 Ghost Rare cards, if you can pick those up for pretty decent price, you know, those are good buys. Even at 9s, pretty good buy. 160, I wouldn't pay 160 if you can get one for $60, $70. Something that's interesting, I think anyways, about modern graded cards is the cards are new. You know, they're not 10, 20 years old like LOB and all those other older sets. So when you find raw LOB and those vintage sets, the price is going to be absolutely absurd. Well, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant to say. I meant to say that the condition of the card can be extremely variable. But now, these newer cards, people are starting to collect cards. We have sleeves. People protect their cards. Generally, they should be in good condition. So you should be able to buy these modern cards raw and get them graded yourself if you want. So you don't have to pay the premium of $160 for a PSA 9. You can buy this one down here. Maybe not this one, but it's just an example. Maybe this one is ask the seller for more pictures or do whatever you need to do, and it could possibly get a 9. There's some chipping there, but it's just something you got to look out for. And you kind of think about, do you need to pay $160? No, I've got off topic. Last thing I want to talk about, I promise, and thanks for all you guys that made it this far. I know I kind of stumbled through this video. I haven't ever made a video like this. Is Magic Formula. I think you should stay away from Magic Formula. I have no idea why people would pay $1,000 for an ungraded card. I understand how rare it is. I understand how short printed Glass is, or Gladiator's Assault is, but I mean, dude, it's just not worth it. You can do again. You could do so much with $1,000. I mean, look, a Ghost Rare, one per case, is only $60. Go through and start a Ghost Rare collection for $1,000. You can get pretty far into that instead of buying this card here. So I think the same thing can be said about Necroface and all those Gladiator's Assault cards. Just stay away. If you for some reason this is your card, this is your LOB Blue Eyes, this card you have to have, you know, go for it. But I think you're not going to see too much growth in this card. I mean, $1,000 for a raw card, that's DDS Blue Eyes prices, and this is not a DDS Blue Eyes. Tons of people, vintage collectors, have no idea what this is. So that's really all I had for now. I could talk all day about cards I think would go up and down in price, what to look for, but this is just kind of a sample, just a quick video to get out there. I know it's like 20-something minutes, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to try to make some more of these videos in the future, get a little better at kind of trying to verbalize my thoughts properly. Yeah, thanks for watching if you made it this far. I'll see you guys next time.